Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Butte-Silver Council of Commissioners Committee of the Whole meeting, July 27th, 2016. Can I have roll call, please, Laura?
There are 11 present, 1 presiding, 1 absent.
Let the record show that Commissioner Foley is absent tonight and hopefully enjoying his vacation. Would you join us with Commissioner Henderson with the prayer and the pledge?
Almighty God, we implore you, look upon us and guide us this night as we make decisions which will greatly affect our community of Butte-Silver. Direct our thoughts, words, and deeds so that we please you and best serve our fellow citizens. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Dennis. At this point in our meeting, I would ask for any public comment on any items that are on tonight's agenda. Would you just come to the front, either microphone, and give us your name and address for the record, please?
I heard this may be off the agenda, but if I can speak,
It's on now.
I'll wait until the end of the meeting to speak. My name is Madam Chairwoman Cindy Shaw, members of the commission. My name is Bill Furco. I live at 4815 South Wyoming Street in Butte, Montana. I'm here to talk about the matter of the county shops. It's why I'm always here. I guess I want to point out first that we are all Butte people. We all want each of us feel is best for the community. Our opinions on how to do that may differ, but our goal is the same. Therefore, we cannot be enemies by definition. So I don't want to be an enemy to anybody, and I don't want anybody to think I'm an enemy in this regard, because I really do want what's best for the community. And I want to thank you for allowing me to speak. My hope is that my opinion is given thoughtful consideration in your decision. Butte, Montana, to my eyes at least, is the most beautiful city in the world. And I've traveled the world. I love it here. I love the people. I love our edge. I love the rust of Butte. As a child, I played in the junkyards just as often as I played in grassy parks. If Butte has a unique DNA, it's in my blood, and I have the tetanus shots to prove it. But we have a problem. The industrial blight that exists in our community isn't looked upon by others with the same fond reminiscence that I feel. The time of our fathers and grandfathers is past. Soon our time will pass, and that's hard to grasp, but it's true. So in making your consideration on this matter, you need to think that, I believe that you should think that it's one of a very long 40-year type of ramification on how best to clean up another poisoned area and where to relocate the existing industrial facility sitting on top of it. It's my opinion that the basis of your decision be a vote or a decision not for me and not for you, but for others that are coming after us. The others I'm referring to are not strangers. There are young citizens that you'll be living with, or that will be living with the decision that we make, you make 40 years from now. These are the kids, and I don't want to throw the kids and grandkids card. They're the young people. They're my kids. They're your kids. They're people that are going to be moving in. They cannot speak to you today like I can, but they will be speaking of you years from now. I still remain opposed to every location besides the Mansfield Center. Not because they're the worst ideas. It's just because they're not the best ideas. A county shop located in the middle of town has its appeal. On the surface, I agree with Mr. Schultz that a centralized location provides quicker response time to the very important job of clearing and sanding city icy streets in Uptown Butte. However, we should be reminded there is more to Butte and Silver Bow County than the 14 primary and secondary snow routes and north of its current location, and 30 primary and secondary snow routes south of its current location. In the matter of ensuring public safety by quickly clearing and sanding the steep streets of Uptown Butte, it seems imperative to me that sanding trucks should be pre-deployed in Uptown Butte at county-owned locations when a winter storm is forecasted. And I don't think we need to make a big deal out of this, a big cost. The county owns shops up there. They have the Kelly. Everything can be put up there. We don't have to build giant satellite facilities. It's something that can be done creatively and at low cost. There's much talk that Mansfield Center is too far away. I hear that all the time. And I think that all individual opinions are based on your perspective. If I were standing on top of the Finland Hotel, I would look out and say, wow, that Mike Mansfield is far away. If I were in the parking lot of the new Copper King Inn that this council recently gave a large tax abatement to in hopes of further development in that area, I would say the Mansfield Center is just down the road. If I were at the Votech, I call it, but now it's called Highlands College, I would say that they are my neighbors. I guess in a matter of distance, the point I'm trying to make is that our city is growing to the south. Yeah, south. The Mansfield Center is perfectly positioned in that regard. If you have any doubt, remember what existed, or better stated, what didn't exist south of Elizabeth Warren 25 years ago. I know because I live out in that area. There was nothing, and now it's developed. I think 25 years from now, we're going to see the same economic development growing that direction within the next 25 years. So just to summarize, I respectfully call upon each one of you to base your thoughts on this matter in one of foresight. So thank you very much for your time, and I appreciate the opportunity to stand in front of you.
Any other comment?
Auditor Vanderbilt, 2601 Grand Avenue. Relative to communication 16350 and 16351. The public was advised that these two communications have been withdrawn from the Council of Commissioners and that they are still on your agenda. The public meeting conducted by the executive branch of this government was an infringement upon your power and duties, and most probably was illegal. I would also like to bring your attention to the fact that the parent smelter site is a part of a national historical significant landscape. We need to add a request to the National Park Service to make the south side of that site a National Historical Park with a Meta-Affairs Mining Interpretive Center owned and operated by the National Park Service. Thank you.
Thank you, Ed. Any other comment from the audience?
I'm Helen O'Connor Joyce. I live at 3520 White Way in Butte. Chairwoman Shaw, members of the council, again, thank you for allowing me time to speak tonight. I am here to talk about relocation of the county shops. I would ask you all to put yourselves in the position of MSC's employees and ponder for a moment what they must be thinking about the process that has unfolded to select a new location for the county shops. Despite the fact that MSC has been a potential site from the very beginning of the process, and several sites have been removed from consideration for various reasons, MSC has continued to make it through the selection process that was developed by Butte-Silver staff. MSC has made it through that process because it is a legitimate site for relocation of the county shops. and will serve the citizens of Butte-Silver Bow for generations to come in that usage. Because the north of Civic Center Road site does not look promising either, we want you to know that MSC is still a willing seller of a property with tons of potential to serve as a permanent or temporary site for the county shops. I think that the paired tailings removal has a great potential to disrupt Butte-Silver Bow's operations at the current location, and MSC stands willing to assist as a temporary home for the county shops. We have available offices, industrial spaces, and laydown areas. I again invite you to visit the Mansfield Center anytime, and we are eager to discuss options that MSC's visionary and creative staff have devised to make the relocation of your shops easy, time efficient, and cost effective. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Helen. Any other comment tonight?
Madam Chair and members of the Council Commissioners, I'm Mary Kay Craig, 518 West Granite Street in Butte. I didn't ask permission to speak, but since 3 others have spoken on this topic, I thought I would clarify something for the Restore Our Creek Coalition. The group that I represent, Citizens for Labor and Environmental Justice, is a member of that group. And we are very clear that we don't really care where the shops go as long as they do not go north of Civic Center Road. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Kay. Any further comment? Okay, seeing none, we'll move along to the report of the chair, which I am not going to have any. It's a warm night and we have several things to take care of, so you don't need to hear me yakking at you. So we'll start with section 1, bid opening communication number 16-356. County Attorney Joyce, do we approve of publication on both 1 and 2 sections?
Madam Chair, we do have proof of publication on both items, and they both appear to be in order.
Thank you. Okay. So this is a bid opening for JP Gallagher, Director of Butte-Silver Bow Parks and Recreation Department, requesting Council Commissioners allow suspension of the rules and authorize time this evening on July 27th to conduct a bid opening regarding the Miners Field Flat Work Project at Copper Mountain Sports Park. JP.
Thanks, Madam Chair. Commissioners, we do have 2 bids, which I'll open.
County Attorney Joyce. And who is that bid from, JP?
It is from
Construction Concepts.
the bid is from Construction Concepts Incorporated, Cody, Wyoming.
Thank you. County Attorney Joyce.
And there is a bid bond from a licensed surety company that does appear to be in order.
Thank you.
I just gotta find it.
It's okay. You never make them easy to find, do they?
No. I got it. All right. On the bid, item number 1, mobilization bond and insurance, $15,850.
Little lot. JP.
Yes, $15,850. Item number 2, $3,750. Item number 3, $63,521. Item number 4, $880. Item number 5, $120. Item number 6, $500. Item number 7, $2,750. Item number 8, $118,393. This is for a total base bid price of $206,764.
Thank you.
See if I can do a better job. The second bid is from H&H Contracting, 501 Centennial Avenue, Butte, Montana.
County Attorney Joyce?
Madam Chair, there is a bid bond in the amount of 10% from a licensed surety company that does appear to be in order.
Thank you.
Item number 1, $25,000. Item number 2, $14,532. Item number 3, $44,800. Item number 4, $6,064. Correction, I believe that's $1,064. So correction on that, $1,064. Item number 5, $200. Item number 6, $700. Item number 7, $700. Whoops, I'm off here. I'm sorry. Item number 5 was $200. Item number 6 is $700. Item number 7 is $3,000. And item number 8 is $177,108.75 for a total bid price of $266,404.75.
Okay. So that concludes the bid openings. Commissioner Morgan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll make a motion that we pass these bids to the Public Works Committee and await their recommendation.
Do we have a second?
Oh, Cheryl.
Okay. Commissioner Henderson?
Madam Chair, just a couple of questions. JP, who was the engineer on this?
JP?
The engineer was Pioneer Technical.
Okay, and a follow-up, Madam Chair.
Commissioner Henderson?
When you do bids like this, JP, is this all or none? That you don't ever divide any bid then?
JP?
In portions, you know what I mean?
Chairman Shaw, Commissioner Henderson, it has been at times divided when we did not have bids and we had to reopen, but generally under the bid package here, it would we go with the full package if we can.
Oh, okay. Thanks.
We have a second?
I got to amend my motion.
Okay. Commissioner Morgan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I got to amend my motion to add to place on file to.
They'll come back with a recommendation.
We don't need to put this one on file. All right.
We have a motion and a second to refer these bids back to the Public Works Department to hold for their response and their recommendation.
What was the engineer's estimate?
Just one moment, please. County Attorney Joyce.
Madam Chair, I was just going to note that they will do a new communication when they make a recommendation back to the council
Okay.
on the award, so you could place this one on file if you want.
Commissioner Morgan, sorry about that.
So I'll make that amendment to the motion to place this communication on file also. And yes,
Okay, we have a motion and a second to refer this to the Public Works Department and place this on file. And the engineer estimate was a total of $199,300. Anything on the question? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Section 2, public hearing, communication number 16-305. Danette L. Gleason, Director, Butte-Silver Finance and Budget Department, requesting Council of Commissioners authorize a public hearing on the final budget to begin this evening on July 27, 2016, to be continued until adoption of the fiscal year 2017 final budget. Danette.
Madam Chair, Council of Commissioners, for the record, I'm Danette Gleason, the Finance and Budget Director for Butte-Silver. It's been a long process. We've been working hard on this budget with the departments, with the elected officials, and again with you. We started the process in early January. We continued through it and then been meeting with you since early May, discussing a lot of the different budget components. Again, just to reiterate what we've already discussed prior, the total budget for this year is a little over $135 million compared to last year's budget of $166 million, with the difference mainly being in the capital projects that we've seen completed over the last fiscal year at the water treatment plant and at the Metro sewer plants. The tax-supported budgets will be approximately $43 million. Remember that of that 43 million, only about half, a little bit less than half of the total appropriations relates to property tax revenue. So around $22 million will be property tax revenue. The tax supported budgets represent 32% of the annual budget this fiscal year. I've handed out to you tonight some additional addendums. Again, I've given you every one of the sheets just so that you have everything in front of you tonight. I want to discuss a little bit. Last week, I had given you some addendums on the July 20th sheet. That's the second page. Just want to go over them with you a little bit. We didn't have a lot of time last week to discuss it. It wasn't segregated. And I just want to bring a few points to your attention so that everybody's very much aware of what's included in the preliminary budget to date. The first item is that we have allocated some of the Greenway District Park funds. The Greenway District gives $50,000 to the Parks Department for operations of the trails and whatnot. And currently we've allocated $9,000 of that fund over to the parks, donated parks budget to accommodate some additional funding, $9,000 in additional funding for the Rocker Playground equipment. So that brings the Rocker Playground equipment up to a total of $17,000. The next section there is the extension agent. We've moved the salaried position of a secretary position in there, the $49,000 that related to this position. We've added that into the 390 account, anticipating the possibility of having a second extension agent at the cost of $35,000. So there's some reduction there related to that transaction or that transfer of funds. Thirdly, there's an allocation of $4,500 that was originally in salaries and benefits down into the 390 other purchase services line item in the Board of Rec budget. That relates to referees that are not on the Butte-Silver payroll. They are associated with the ASA and they have their independent contractors licensed through ASA, so we pay them as a contract service. Excuse me. Fourthly, is the pool debt service has been added. That's a total of $506,600. I've worked with the bond underwriter to get the best numbers that we could have so that we could place something in the budget related to the debt service payments, because we will be going out by the end of this fall. We will be having bond issue related to the pool. So we will have to have something in this year's budget to make a January 1st interest payment and a July 1 next year payment for the principal and interest on those bonds. And then finally, for the July 20th amendments, we added $150,000 into the water division improvements other than buildings for the Army Corps of Engineering grant that we received for additional repairs at the Molten Reservoir, additional improvements at the Molten Reservoir. So those were items that we didn't discuss last week, but were handed out to you. So I want to move on to the next page, which are some new additions. Again, these additions just basically relate to some changes in grants that we received. So additional funds were spent in 2016 that are not available or cannot be expended in 2017, or the grants which expire in September would be overspent. So a majority of that, except for the bottom two lines on that spreadsheet, relate to transfers between those funds to make sure that we've properly accounted for those grants. The last two items in there are just small changes. We've actually had decreases when we were evaluating some staffing positions, and we had $1,700.39 decrease in the CEM budget that related to salaries. So not a significant amount of changes to date on those. I wanted to also talk to you just a little bit, again, just to remind you about some of the major components that were within the budget. We have the 1.5% increase in salaries, and we have the $30 increase on the health insurance to offset that 10.6% increase in the self-funded plan that we've seen. And we also are aware that some of the union health and welfare benefits that some of the unions participate as well had seen similar types of increases. So those were put into there and have been settled in some of the union contracts as well. Again, we had one staffing addition related to the water treatment plant operator, and then we discussed the staffing reductions in the finance and budget department, in the community development department, and then in the health department. That is all I have for related to staffing. And I don't really have a lot more to address onto this other than usually this point in time, I'm able to give you a resource and requirement schedule. We talk more about the certified value. As of today at 4:05, the Department of Revenue was holding those numbers. They still are working some centrally assessed numbers. The assessor was ready to give me some numbers, and right about the time when I walked in the door, he had a big grin on his face because he just got the email saying don't give anything out because the Department of Revenue will not certify values probably till Friday at the earliest, more like Monday. They're still doing adjustments in the centrally assessed.
All right, any questions from the council members to Danette? Commissioner Purdue-Dolan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was going through the salary and benefit schedule that you gave us last week, and I was really concerned about the amount of overtime that I highlighted just going through several employees, and I wondered if you could address that issue just in general over the course of just many employees.
Danette?
Yep. Madam Chair, Commissioner Purdue-Dolan, we had a little bit of conversation in finance and budget, so I quickly went downstairs and did some calculations. The overtime budget in fiscal year 16, which is very similar to what it is in fiscal year 17, was $930,863. We actually spent to date from the June 30th budget $795,000, a little over $795,000 in overtime, which equates to about 85.5% budget to actual expenditure. The major the major departments that we see using overtime are the water utility division. They have a lot of work. They do a lot of their own construction work. They're on tight timelines. I know Public Works Director Dave Schultz, as well as the accountant Karen Hassler here tonight, that could add to that, explain some of the different projects and the timelines that they have to meet. So you see a significant amount of overtime in that budget. There's a lot of overtime in the general fund, about $176,000. Law enforcement's in the general fund. We never know when incidents are going to happen. We've had a few this past year, so those overtime budgets are driven by that. We have the Metro Sewer Department that has issues that come up and they have to work overtime. And then Road is the next largest department. They spend about $116,000, and then Fire at $72,000. All the departments that I just mentioned are departments that have union contracts within them. Many of the union contracts are double overtime and then quite differently in overtime when they're called out for shift work.
Any other questions from the council to Danette? Before I open the public hearing, Commissioner Henderson.
Madam Chair. Danette, I was questioning this summary of amendments. The General Fund Board of Rec on salaries and wages, and it says over to the right, to change payment from softball referees to other purchase service. These referees belong to ASA, have independent contractor status. So what is the total amount paid to the referees at the present time?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Henderson, it runs about $4,500 every year.
$4,500 a year?
And that includes the operation. It's a total. That includes not just the league play, that includes their, any tournaments that they work, whatnot. And they are independent. We had this reviewed last year and we just didn't make the change. We made the change in last year's budget, and then when it was resubmitted again this year, it was left in by my department on accident. It was a mistake. And so we needed to rectify that and correct it because they do hold independent contractor status. They're not a Butte-Silver employee. We do not pay benefits on their wages that they earn.
So
Follow up,
follow up,
Henderson.
Madam Chair. So where I'm confused then is in the preliminary budget was 64,431, just say for 110. So if there was a change at 3380, why is that? I mean, where does the 64,000 go to now
Danette.
in wage?
Yeah, Madam Chair, Commissioner Henderson, the change was just for the referees, the umpire and the referee, the umpires, not referees, but umpires, the league. The other budget relates to other salaried positions that are work out of there. For example, the coordinator, Mr. Lazzary's position is paid fully out of this budget. Your budget book, if you look at that, gives you all the allocations of all the different positions that are paid out of this particular budget.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Surge.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Danette, I just got a pretty minor question. I'm looking under General Fund Extension Services, Operating Supplies, Professional Services for buying county fair ribbons halfway down on the first page.
Oh, on the first one.
Could you explain that a little bit further? Why did we have to transfer line money out, or what's the reason behind that?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Sorge, the County Extension Office this year had to purchase the ribbons in order to make sure that they were timely bought and ordered. And so at that time, there was still transition between the bank account and what was taking place. They opted to use the extension agent budget. So normally the extension agent budget for operating supplies is only $90. So we took and transferred money from the professional services line item that it looked like the budget to actual was sufficient to cover from 16 to change that for fiscal year 17 to cover that purchase.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any questions? All right. I will open the public hearing. I would make a first call for proponents of the budget, the 2017 budget. If you have any comments to make, please come to the microphone and state your name and address for the record. Second call for proponents. Third and final call for proponents. I open up now for any opponents to the budget 2017. Second call for opponents. Third and final call for opponents. I'll close the public hearing. Thank you, Danette. Oh, I'm sorry, we're not closing it. Never mind. We'll continue to open it until the budget has been approved. Thank you. Section 3, presentation, communication number 16-309. Pamela Haxby-Cody, Executive Director, Butte Local Development Corporation, requesting Council of Commissioners authorize time on the July 27th, 2016 agenda to report on the past year's operations of the Butte Local Development Corporation. Pam?
Madam Chair, members of the commission, my name is Pam Haxby Cody. I'm the Executive Director of the Butte Local Development Corporation. I live at 109 Winky Way. I really love the name of that street, especially when my husband has to tell people where he lives. It is absolutely a joy and an honor to be up here today, speaking in front of you. It's been an amazing year. We live, I think, in the best town, in the best state, in the greatest nation in the world. And how lucky am I to be able to do this for all of you in a place that I think is extraordinarily unique. I've got my teammate up here. She's kind of driving for me, and we're having some problem with your technology here. Maybe there's some technology funds in your budget. I don't know. Hope there is, huh? Yeah, is there? Yay! All righty. So the first screen that was up there just a little bit ago was our board of directors. But before we move on, what I want to do is I want to thank you all. You are all contributing in so many ways to the work that we do at the Butte Local Development Corporation. And together, I think we're really developing a thriving community in which we can live, work, and play. There's quite a renaissance out there, and it's really exciting times. In your packet, you've got a packet in front of you. If this doesn't work, that's okay. I will email you the original. I have photos of our board of directors, and I wanted to put photos in there, number one, because they're all very good looking, but number two, you know them all. They're all your neighbors. They're all our friends. They're all hardworking individuals who really care about this town, and they're a real working, active board, which is something that I'm really proud of, and I call on all of them a lot. So get to know them if you can. They're good folks, dedicated to Butte, just like yourselves. There's a list of the board in there. We have 17 of them. I don't want to go through them all because I know it's really hot in here. You have it in front of you, but it's a pretty doggone impressive list. And so if you happen to see them, thank them for their service. They don't get paid. They come to meetings. They work on problems. They meet with companies. I think Cindy can attest to that. You know, she's gone to lots of these meetings. So if you see them, thank them. I'm really quite proud of these folks. And then I have to say, we got a pretty doggone amazing staff. And we only have 3 staff members, and we're getting a lot of work done. You got myself, you have Adam Benson. We just hired him. He's not even been on quite a year. He is our director of loan services. He worked with me when I was at Blackstone for 3 years. He's a smart, young professional, got lots of energy. He compliments me because my energy is waning some days. He's full of ideas. And he's just exactly what we're looking for here in Butte, and I have him on our team. So please come by and meet him. He couldn't be here today because he was handling another meeting for me tonight. And then Audrey Cumbo, she's kind of the glue that holds us all together. Audrey is our administrative manager. She's been there for 10 years. She's an amazing young woman, and she does a good job for us there. Our goals, I want to let you know what our goals are. They're simple. They're really simple. And that's just to grow entrepreneurship and employment opportunities. It's to increase our population and tax base. You know, I was talking to Dave, you know, you guys are just talking about your budget, right? Well, if we can create some new jobs and get some more buildings sold and those kind of things, we create some tax base here so we can have better roads, even enhance some of the services that we have and that sort of thing. And then the other thing we do, which is my favorite thing to do, is we can assist and do assist every day our existing businesses grow and prosper and compete in a global economy. So that's kind of what our goals are. Like I said, it's been an amazing year. The first, well, I'm still doing it, has been to get a handle on our operations and processes. I took over for somebody else. We wanted to have a fresh face, not that he didn't have a good face. He's a pretty good, handsome looking guy, Jim was. But, you know, I wanted to kind of make it our own, reinvent it a little bit. And so we've spent some time doing that. We have, if you can see in front of you, we've got a new logo, new colors. It's green, it's clean, it's crisp. We put it out to young professionals to choose which one they like. They chose this one. I think it's really great. We've reestablished relationships. We've worked really hard to make sure that we're working well and in coordination and cooperation with all of our partners. I've gone to talk to as many local civic organizations as I can to introduce myself. And again, we've also introduced ourselves to most of the small businesses here in Butte because we really care about them and we want to know that they matter, and they do. The Butte Local Development, it's okay, it's quite all right. What's that? They need a new version of PowerPoint. It's okay, I got it, I'll send it to you. I can handle this. This is what we do. The Butte Local Development Corporation, we pride ourselves on providing high-quality services and programs designed to make relocation, expansion, and startups as smooth as possible. We provide assistance in business relocation and expansion and site selection activities, incentive programs, market research, access to capital. We have a federal procurement technical assistance program that I've talked to you all about. We've got information, we give information to folks regarding businesses and buildings and space that they might be wanting. We have information regarding available land and the rates and that sort of thing, and even information on facilities that aren't for sale. We need to know about those so that we can help fill those properties. We provide networking opportunities for our small businesses and entrepreneurs. And again, we connect our entrepreneurs with resources. Particularly important to us and to me and to all of you, because some of you are on our team, is the business expansion and retention program. And we have a really active BEAR team. We've got about 11 members from all over Southwest Montana. We talk every single Monday, and we provide a gamut of services for all of our businesses, working in cooperation with each other and the folks at Butte-Silver to help any business who wants to expand or grow. And there's a list of those things in your packet. I don't want to go through them because I know you're hot. The other thing that we do is we provide financing assistance to Butte businesses. And it's gap financing. You know, we try to maximize what a commercial lender is going to do for our small businesses. And we provide financing that a normal bank would do, other than we do some things, maybe some startups, we might do that. We also do a lot of retention loans to keep our businesses here. It's a lot easier to keep a business than it is to attract a business. So we work very hard to help keep these businesses open. We have 14 revolving loan funds. Actually, one of them is yours. And as we've had that since 1981, that's your Anaconda-Arco Loan Fund. When the mines closed, they gave 3 cities some money. Each one of them got $500,000. You lucky folks are the only city in the state that still has that fund, that is still operating the way it should be operating, and you're creating jobs out of that. And we administer the Anaconda-Arco Loan Fund on your behalf as part of our contract. Some of the BLDC portfolio statistics that I pulled last week, pretty doggone impressive. The original loan amount that we borrow money from USDA Rural Development, and we turn around and lend it back out through our 7 revolving loan funds and then another Board of Investment one. The original capital amount of that was $7.9 million. The total funds that we have lent out since 1991 has been $25 million. That original $7 million has revolved 3 times in this community. That's impressive. That is really impressive. The number of loans that we've made is 295 loans. We have leveraged in public funds $44 million. Some of that is your public funds. The owner equity that has gone into that project is $22 million for a total investment since 1991 is $897,500,413 into this economy. The average loan that we've made is $89,000. The number of jobs that have been created, new jobs that have been created, is 2,329. The number of jobs that we have saved, every bit as important, is 2,094. So the total jobs created and retained with that little tiny bit of money has been 4,423 jobs. That's a pretty big impact on this town. We have an experienced loan committee. Dave sits on our loan committee and has sat on our loan committee for a long, long time. We've got bankers, we've got real estate folks on there, we've got business people on there, and we've got attorneys on there. So we make sure that what we do with those loans are prudent. Now, sometimes we lose, business goes out of business. We try to save them, though. We do everything we can to do that. We've had some bad loans, but so have banks, right? I think we've got a really good record, and we try very hard, and we work very hard with all of our customers to make sure that they're doing well. So far this year, since January, we have assisted 13 companies. We have loaned out $1.9 million. The total leverage on that is $3.3 million, and the jobs created and retained so far is 228 jobs. So, as I said, we got your original loan fund in 1981. In 1995 was when we got our first IRP. I was wrong, I said 1991. I'm hot, I'm going through menopause. This is really hot up here. We've created 4,423 jobs. We, not just the BLDC, but all of you folks here. This is what we've done, and it's been pretty impactful. And what I'd like to do is get up here 10 years from now when I'm going to retire and tell you that we've doubled that number, and I think we can get there, all right? The other thing that we have through the generosity of you, the URA board, Karen and Matt, is we operate under a contract to the URA to provide services, loan services for their revolving loan fund. So you're in good hands. This year, working with Karen, we have done 7 loans. We've helped 6 businesses. We've had $318,955 have been dispersed through Karen's URA fund, your URA fund, and we have 9 direct jobs have been created. That's pretty substantial. And by the way, if you could see the map, that's in Uptown Butte. And that is one of our goals. One of our highest priorities is to do things in Uptown Butte. So partnering with you folks and Karen and Kristen, we think we're doing some good things there. We also see a lot of opportunity up there, and I'll talk about that in a minute. One of the other things that we do is we market Butte. And we have a brand new website. It's done. You're all stars on the website. You all have links. It's up. It went live today. It's not perfect. There are some things in there where we're seeing. So go to bldc.net. Take a look at it. Be critical. Call me. Shoot me an email. Let me know what you think. Make sure your links are working. But what we do is we help promote Butte-Silver Bowl. And I want to tell you why it's such a great place. You already know it, but I think we take it for granted. We're promoting Butte-Silver Bowl because we have a great central location. We have the best, brightest, and talented workers and hard workers. We've got an inviting quality of life, excellent transportation services through the Port of Montana. We have experienced corporate C-level professionals. You meet them, you work with them every day. They're some of the brightest people I've ever met. We've got state-of-the-art telecommunications infrastructure. You've got it in this building, 2 gigabit fiber ring. No one has it in the state. People are coming to Butte because we have this. That's a big deal. We got the best colleges, Highlands College and schools around. We've got the most creative and innovative teachers that I've ever seen. And we've got the most creative and innovative students as well. We've got a plentiful inventory of affordable housing. We have an interesting and engaging history. And, we're in festival season. I'm enjoying it. I'm sure you are. And I cannot believe the number of people that have been in town, and our town has never looked better. Thank you. It looks great, and people are really happy to be here. Some of the targeted industries that we're working on, and it's because of a report that Kristen and the Tippett board, and Matt and you folks commissioned, is the Angelou report. That's a really good report, and if you haven't seen it, or I'm sure you have, bring it out and dust it off. There's some good stuff in there. We're taking that very seriously, working with Kristen and Karen. So our targeted industries that we're working on here are healthcare. There was a report that was out that in this year alone, there are in the state, there's a need for 7,000 healthcare workers. So we're working really hard in that regard to do our best to help solve some of that problem for us here in Butte. Manufacturing and fabrication. I did a little survey, and we have some of the sharpest and brightest and most innovative fabricators I've ever seen. They can make anything. And amazing group of individuals. We got a burgeoning high-tech community, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. Environmental remediation and restoration, we do it best here. Nobody does it better. And what I'm hoping for is we can have a summit or some sort of a semi-annual conference and bring people from all over the world to see what we have done, because we have done it better than anywhere. In fact, we invented it here. We got a burgeoning apparel industry, amazing, artistic, young professionals. There's a cluster forming. I'm just blown away by what these people are doing. Arts and culture, you can't walk down anywhere in Uptown Butte and not see wonderful museums and great art. A new one just opened up just south in the Acoma building on the Wyoming Street side. It's beautiful. If you haven't seen it, go see it. Aerospace, we're shooting off rockets and blowing up Kristen's buildings out there. Not anymore, but we've done that, and that put us on the map. And they're expanding and they're doing great things. We'd love to get them in here to talk to you about that. Tourism and destination retail. Brendan's working really hard with Kristen and Karen and I and Maria Porchavia to do some things in the tourism and destination retail industry. And then, of course, on logistics. We got a new website. I just told you about that. Some of our marketing goals are to make sure that we actively promote and market the website. Doesn't do any good if it's just sitting there, so we've got a plan to do that. We're going to enhance the local public perception about Butte through public outreach and media campaigns. If we don't believe in ourselves, who else is, right? And so I need you to be obnoxious about how great this town is. I know you are, but talk to everybody else. And this is what I do. I'm out going to civic meetings and telling them what a great place this is. We live in the best town. I know it. I've been all over. I've been in every county of this state 3 times. I've been in other states. We have something here that nobody else have. We have the best people. We got the coolest town. So help me, be obnoxious. Talk pridefully about this place, boast about it. We don't need to be so humble about that. I'm going to continue to serve on boards and committees that provide leadership opportunities for me and expertise so that I can leverage outside resources and strengthen relationships and partnerships. And I've got some of those I'll talk to you about later on that's really helping us here. I want to let you know that we're going to be advertising and doing some public outreach efforts. We got a little bit of a budget. We're going to launch our first e-newsletter this month. We've got a good social media, Facebook and Instagram, and we're going to be writing a blog this month. We're doing public and private marketing partnerships with you folks and Kristen and Karen and the folks at the chamber. We're working really hard to attract and retain young professionals, because guess what? We're getting old. If we don't have some of these people here, we can kiss it goodbye, right? And so what we're doing, we're making a concerted effort. These young professionals, they're the most entrepreneurial and the most mobile. And they like it here, and they want to be with each other, and they want to be with like-minded individuals. So we're going to work really hard to throw up some mentoring opportunities for them and get some events for socialization and that sort of thing, so that we can find out what these young people want and help to keep them here. We, again, are doing our business recruitment and expansion and retention. We think that's high on our list. We're going to leverage ways in which Montana Tech and Highlands can become more involved in economic development. And we're working really hard on that. And I know you folks are too. I think Matt's going to form some kind of a committee that's going to help us get that done. And I'm looking forward to sitting down with these folks so we can get more customized training. I want to promote our educated workforce through them. I want to leverage our college and universities research to support local job creation. And we want to start some internships. Instead of sending these kids somewhere else in some other town, let's start employing them here. So we're working really hard this next year with Montana Tech and with Highlands College to start up some internship programs with those folks. And then we've got a targeted marketing campaign, and we're not doing this by ourselves because we can't, through Karen and Kristen and Cheryl and Kathy Fassos and Maria Porchavina and Stephanie. We're getting together and we're working on how we can best market this town, taking advantage of the Angela report that I mentioned in the previous statement. Business recruitment, we can't do this by ourselves. We have a great team. It's Matt, you guys, Kristen, Karen, Marco, Dory, State of Montana Governor's Office of Economic Development, Montana Ambassadors, Murdy, lots more folks are helping us do this. And currently, today, as of today, we have 12 new businesses in the pipeline seeking information from us, commercial real estate opportunities, and access to capital. That's as of today. You know, some towns don't get that in a year. So I think things are happening. It's kind of a renaissance. We've also done some things a little different. We've got an Office of Entrepreneurism and Innovation. And what we're trying to do there, and you guys are probably getting a gazillion emails from me about the Mile High Innovation Network. I'm going to keep you on the list. Some of you have been to those. But the purpose of this is to connect and convene and foster and promote what these entrepreneurs are doing. They want to get together. They want to talk about their problems with each other and try to solve things. So we're giving them a platform to do that, a way to do that, and we're making sure that we're fostering those connections. Currently, they meet, the Mile High Innovation Network meets every month, the fourth Thursday. It's tomorrow from 4 to 6. We're moving it around town. Please come tomorrow. You'll get a tour of Montana Precision Products. It's going to be out there. We've had 12 events since I've been here, and over 360 individuals have attended those events. It's an amazing thing. The other thing we're planning on doing is throwing up some more entrepreneurial programs this year. I think we'll do it's through the KBMF Foundation. It's called 1 Million Cups. We might coin it something different because we don't have 1 million people in Montana, so we might call it 30,000 cups or something like that. But more opportunities for these young entrepreneurs to get together and network. We have a procurement technical assistance center. I was just there for 2 days training. This is the most boring stuff you could ever be trained on. But I gotta say it's impactful. And I've got 70 clients. We had 31 clients when I walked in the door. I've got as many clients as a full-time PTAC has, and we're only quarter time. I got a bump in our contract with them of $5,000, so I was really excited about that. And from August 15 through May of 16 in Butte, we've got $4,180,814,000 in awards, federal contract awards to our small businesses. And that's impactful. It's great work, it's boring training, but awesome work. And I encourage you, I know a number of you have sent me contacts. So if you know of someone who wants to do business with the federal government and they buy everything, I kid you not, please have them contact me. We want to help them. We have a manufacturing sector partnership. And this started before I got here. I cannot take credit for this. But what I can take credit for is some of the good work that's been done since, working with Kristen and myself and some champions, Jim Bennett and Chris Urich from Montana Precision Products. We got a manufacturing sector. We're expanding it to larger employers, and we're getting together and we're solving things that are problems that they're having in that industry. And right now it's workforce. You saw in the paper, Mike reported, they're going to be hiring a whole bunch of people, and we got to start training that whole bunch of people. And so we're working together with the school district, got a meeting the end of August with those folks to try to set up a program inside the high school for some job readiness skills for our high school students. So we're working on that. If any of you want to be involved, we could sure use some help. I've been talking a lot about our partners, but it's important because we can't do this by ourselves. We're a staff of 3, but cannot do it. And I'm grateful to all of our partners. There's a list of them in your handout, but Butte-Silver, we can't do it without you. You give me money. I need more money. So, you know, if you're feeling really generous, if you're not, I'll take what you've given me because I'm very grateful for it. But we can't do it without you. Chief Executive, Chairman, we can't. Kristen, Karen, Dory, John, Dave, all these guys, they're good partners. If I'm putting on a conference, I shoot an email out, and Public Works brings me tables and chairs, sets them up, takes them home. Anything I'm needing, all I have to do is ask, and they're all there. We needed the town cleaned up a little bit for a META conference, and they got out and made this place look amazing. I'm grateful, and I can't do it by myself, and I appreciate every one of you. The Chamber, Headwaters, my goodness, we can't do this without Headwaters. So if you see the folks from Headwaters, tell them thanks. They're important to our town. The Governor's Office of Economic Development, the ambassadors, Main Street Uptown, Butte, National Affordable Housing Network. The list goes on and on and on. And I think what we do best in Butte that nobody else does is we work together. And that's a good thing. And that's how we get stuff done. We've done a lot of events working with our partners. We've not done one of them by ourselves, but working with all the partners I mentioned, we've got a list of events that we have done in there. And I'm not going to go through them, but they're impressive. And take a look at them. And this is just my favorite. There's been a bunch of them that have gone on. We have statewide collaborations. I talked to you a little bit about that. They're in there. I actually serve on the National Governors Association Work-Based Learning Policy Academy. There's only 50 of us in the nation. There's only 50 governors. And so I get to sit on that and I serve on that. And that has helped us very well. We're stealing a lot of ideas that other states are doing and we're putting to work here. I get to sit on the Highlands College Advisory Board. They're doing impressive things out there. And I get to tell their story. I'm an ambassador, so I get to go to the ambassador meetings and encourage other ambassadors to come over here and do some things. So there's a whole bunch of things in there that I plan on continuing to do because it is bringing activity to Butte. Now we're getting to the boring stuff, but I'm really proud of this. Our financials. You can't see them because it's not up there. You have a little handout here. I will email you some more, but I'm just going to hit on some highlights for you, okay? The first 8 months of this year, so we're 8 months into our year, include in its revolving loan funds, the revenues were $471,000 against expenses this year of $363,000, producing an overall increase in our net assets of $107,000. And of that, $95,755 have been revolved back into our revolving loan fund so we can create more jobs. That has given us an operating increase of $11,958 as of the end of June. Almost $28,000 has been invested in updating and refreshing the BLDC's brand and our website for you. It's your website. It's not our website. It's your website. And so that we can give Butte a more community-oriented focus while providing essential tools for companies and businesses looking to start or locate in Butte, or for any of you. There's all kinds of tools on there for all of you. Last year, before I got on, the BLDC struggled to maintain some liquidity in its unrestricted operating funds. That's our operating funds. We instituted several corrective measures, and we've achieved structural balance between revenues and expenses. Some of these measures that we took were in reducing overall salaries without impacting any of the required work that we've been doing, and cutting unnecessary operating and maintenance expenses. As of today, I'm proud to say that the BLDC is generating positive cash flow that's going to allow us to reinvest it into local economic development on behalf of all of you. Overall, the financial position and operating results for 2016 have been strong. We're focused on doing the best possible job we can within the limited resources that are available to us. We greatly appreciate our partnership with Butte-Silver, and in fact, we couldn't produce any meaningful results absent of that partnership. To date, for this fiscal year, Butte-Silver has provided contract revenue to us of over $30,000, and URA has provided $11,500. Now, again, we're not at the end of our fiscal year. To help in the economic development programs for Butte and to help the Butte Local Development Corporation. And we appreciate what you're doing for us. We really do. We can't do it without you. In your packet are some upcoming events. We got some kind of fun things going on. We always have the Mile High Innovation Network. I'm putting on a contracting with the state government. That's going to be very boring, but very pertinent. So have folks come and figure out how they can make some money on the backs of the federal and the state government. The Chamber of Commerce Mining City Brewfest is coming. Please come. We need to support the Chamber. They support us, and they're good people, and it's going to be fun. That is on August 3rd. August 6th. We're partnering with Headwaters and doing some small business education programs, and they're all on there. The Montana Manufacturing Extension Center is putting on their semi-annual Compete Smart Conference, October 6th and 7th in Fairmont. That's a big deal. Hundreds and hundreds of contractors come to that. I'll get you more information. I hope you all go. I hope there's an opportunity for Butte-Silver to sponsor that event as well and do some advertising on behalf of us. And I'm hoping that I'll be calling Patty and we'll see if we can't do something special, something Butte special for all those folks while they're there. And that's it. I just want to say thank you. It's been an amazing year. I have the best job. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to take them from you.
Any questions? Commissioner Anderson?
Madam Chair, Tim, I would like to congratulate you on this report and the work you've been getting done this year. So, but there was little something that I missed that I thought was very interesting when we had it was when we have in the statement of activities, we don't have loan applicants and balances and payments and loan activity. And I think I had mentioned that, and I was wondering, will you be giving that to us, the loan applicants and activities and balances that you have on the books each month?
Pam?
I can give you what the URA has. I can talk to you privately about the loans that we have made out of our own funds. As a private economic development organization, a lot of that stuff is private. But we can talk to you about, because I'm not so sure that some of the folks that we gave loans to stay in business are going to want anybody to know about that, right? I'm happy to give you what we loaned to, a general description of who it was, and that sort of thing. But we are bound by non-disclosure agreements and privacy agreements for that kind of thing. But I can absolutely give you a breakdown of everything that we have, and I would be happy to do that. And then you and I could have a conversation, or any of you can call me, and I'll go over it piece by piece with each one of you. But we have to respect those folks who've come in and have gotten a loan through us. Other than Anaconda Arco, and you get a report on that every single month, and other than URA, and you get a report on that every single month. Yes.
Although,
And I'm not being devious. We're just bound by certain things. And I need to make sure that those small businesses who come to see me trust that we're going to do that. Now, we are getting releases from folks. So when we do get a loan, if they feel comfortable about it, they sign a release, and then I can market the heck out of that. But if they're not comfortable, I have to be very careful about that.
Well,
Commissioner Henderson?
Madam Chair, unless I'm wrong, we are a part of this Butte local development in the fact of the loan each year, right?
You give me, we have a contract with you for certain
Contracted
services.
with a financial statement, right?
And I can give you a financial statement, but I cannot give you what we have loaned to individual people. I can give you
Well, we have had it for many years previously, and I'm wondering, was that only legal all them years? Where we were told what activity was going on? Like, let's say, I'm just going to use it for instance, a restaurant's coming into Butte. And so the loan activity went out and it was told $20,000 and the payments were $1,000 a month, let's say. And then we go down the road 6 months and the payments are maybe not made on time in that, and there was interest payments. And we do have them I'm sure you have them businesses right now, many that are just paying interest.
We do.
You do. And I would like to know that, and I don't know why I don't have that information if I am a part of this. So I didn't know there was a legality there.
As a private nonprofit economic development organization, there are certain things that we should not and I will not give out unless we have a release. I can talk to you privately about it, tell you what that is. I can give you a list of what our delinquent and non-delinquents are without names to that. But Butte-Silver does not have any money into the loans that we are putting out there other than the Anaconda Arco Loan Fund and the URA. The BLDC, that's all of our own private capital. Now, and I have to do that to be respectful of our clients. Some don't care, some may care. And that's why we've instituted it with a release to say, can we, when we give you a loan, can we help market your company? Can we put it on our stuff? That sort of thing. But for right now, I think it's dangerous. We want people to be able to come to us if they're having a problem and need interest-only payments and not have to read about it in the newspaper. Sorry, Mike. But really, that's not what we want them to be, right? I wouldn't want gamers in the newspaper making interest-only payments or out on the streets, because that's bad for business, right? I can't do that. But what I will do is sit down with you every single month if you would like and go through every single one of those. But I can't present something like that to you in a public forum. I'm not being disrespectful. I'm just telling you how we have to protect our clients.
Commissioner Henderson,
One
follow
more
up.
follow-up, Madam Chair. Well, first of all, it isn't my money. It's the taxpayers' money that goes to BLDC.
Well, it isn't. I beg to differ, Commissioner Henderson. We have a contract with you that is very explicit, and it is not to operate our revolving loan funds. It is to market Butte-Silver Bow. It is to do marketing on behalf of you, to do recruitment on behalf of you, to do those type of things. And we were very careful that we don't expose the loans to that side of the contract. You do have a liaison on council on our loan committee who goes to every single loan committee. You also have a liaison on our board who goes to two liaisons who go to every single one of our board meetings. Again, I will give you financials. I don't give my board a list of every single loan that we have. I give them a report on who's delinquent. I give them that sort of thing. We talk about that in executive session. Our board signs NDAs. I am more than happy to sit down with every single one of you individually, collectively, 5 at a time, as long as it's not a public meeting, to go over all of that. Because I want you to know what's going on as well. I can't compromise our reputation with our customers and our clients.
Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Pam, just one quick follow-up with that. As far as the loans go, I can't look at the financials as they're too small, as you said.
Yeah.
Are the loans pretty much diversified as far as who has the funds and that goes, or are they pretty much stuck to a couple places?
No, we have a criteria for lending. One is it's create quality jobs. The other is to make sure we make some good loans. The other is to make sure we leverage really well. And then the other is to retain businesses that we have here. There are companies that have problems and they come to us for a loan to help them get through things. And so we also have a focus for Uptown Butte as well to make sure that we can do some infill development. Primary sector jobs. So we have a very diverse portfolio, and I could get you a copy of what our portfolio looks like. We have some problem loans. I would say that we have a quarter of what we used to have a year ago. We've collected over $500,000 this year in problem loans. And what we did was we got in there and just called folks up and said, how are you doing? How do we help you? And because it's not our goal to put them out of business either, right? We want to help them in. So I'm sorry, Commissioner Morgan, I kind of did this roundabout thing, but I think we have a very diverse portfolio. We're running out of money. I think we only have about $600,000 to lend. So what we're going to be doing now is in September, making another application to USDA Rural Development for another $700,000 so that we can get some more money back out on the street.
Thank you.
Any other questions for Pam? Commissioner Purdue-Dolan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Pam, for all of this information and the PowerPoint presentation. I have a couple quick questions. How do you get to the number of jobs created from the BLDC funds loaned and the project investment number?
So we have a database that we have to keep. It's called GMS. So when we disperse a loan, we put the number of what we dispersed, what the interest rate was, how many jobs we created or retained. Is it a woman-owned, veterans, minority-owned, or whatever? So there's a lot of demographic information go into this database, and we've been keeping it since 1995. So every loan we make, we put into that, and that's how we track things.
Follow up, Commissioner Purdue.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just one follow-up on the slide about the BLDC under the annual service contract with the URA. The $318,955 disbursement and 9 jobs created, that's about $35,000 a job. Do you think that's worth it?
I do. And the reason why I think that's worth it is it put a couple buildings in commission that weren't otherwise in commission. And so those are expensive loans, but they're to fix buildings. And they're to actually fix and save and make sure the buildings are here. And so, yeah, I do. That's a real high priority of ours. And I think it's money well spent. And they were good loans. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Thank you, Pam, for.
Thank you.
I look forward to getting the
Commissioner,
online so we can read the
I did forget something. Our audit is done. I'd be happy to get you all a copy of our audit as well. We had a very nice, clean audit. We're going to go to committee tomorrow and approve it. So thank you. Thank you,
Pam. Okay, moving on to section 4. This is a presentation, communication number 16-352. Julia M. Crane, Superfund Program Data Administrator, Butte-Silver Planning Department, requesting Council of Commissioners authorize time on this evening's meeting to present the outcome of the 2016 SARTA grant cycle. And Julia, she told me that the chairman of their board, Bill Joyce, is not in town. And so she asked if we would kindly postpone this presentation to next week's meeting. So with the indulgence of the council, I would like to do that, and we'll be sure to have everyone here to speak, and that'll happen next week. So we'll just have it set on the agenda for next week. Okay, Julia, that's good. All right. So we'll hold that in abeyance until that date. Section 5, communication number 16-151, Sheriff Ed Lester, Butte-Silver Law Enforcement Department, requesting Council of Commissioners authorize Chief Executive to sign a contract with the CCCS to transport youths to detention center. Sheriff Lester advised me that he is still awaiting that information, so we'll continue to hold that in abeyance. Section 6, communication 16-305, Danette L. Gleason, Director, Butte-Silver Finance and Budget Department, requesting Council of Commissioners authorize a public hearing on the final budget to begin on July 27th, 2016, to be continued until adoption of the fiscal year 2017 final budget. We will hold that in advance and leave that open until that final budget has been approved. Section 7, communication number 16-309, Pamela Haxby Cody, Executive Director, Butte Local Development Corporation, requesting Council of Commissioners authorize time on the July 27th, 16 agenda to report on the past year's operations of the BLDC. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, I'll make a motion that we place communication 16-309 on file.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to place communication 16-309 on file. Is there anything on the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Section 8, communication number 16-311, Dory Skrukrud, Office of Community Development, requesting Council of Commissioners concur with the recommendation of sale and authorize the county attorney to prepare a resolution for the sale of 68 Missoula Avenue, Butte, Montana, to Samantha Halverson and Robert Fisher. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll make a motion that we cross-reference communication 16-311 with the resolution 16-3 and place this communication on file.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to cross-reference communication 16-311 with resolution 16-31 and place this on file. Anything on the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Section 9, communication number 16-312, Dory Skrukrud, Office of Community Development, requesting Council of Commissioners concur with recommendation of sale and authorize the county attorney to prepare a resolution for the sale of 57 West Broadway Street, Butte, Montana, to Don Andrews. Commissioner Morgan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll make a motion we cross-reference communication 16-312 with resolution number 16-32 and place this communication on file.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to cross-reference communication 16-312 with resolution 16-32 and place this on file. Is there anything on the question? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Section 10, communication number 16-327, Stacy Carlson, 5230 South Montpelier Road, Denair, California, requesting Council of Commissioners allow sale of property, the East Lode Quartz Mine, back to the heirs of Carlton Charles and Marion F. Rhodes. That has been referred to the Land Sales Committee. God bless you. And we will hold this in abeyance. Section 11, communication number 16-338, Karen Burns, Director of Butte-Silver Community Development Department, requesting Council of Commissioners concur with the tax abatement for the Copper King Inn renovation project and have the county attorney prepare a resolution to be submitted at the next regular meeting of the Council of Commissioners on August 3rd, 2016. We will hold that in abeyance for that resolution to be submitted at our next regular meeting. Section 12, communication number 16-350, John Sesso, Director, Butte-Silver Planning Board, requesting Council of Commissioners concur with the recommendation to select the north side of Civic Center Road as a new location for the Butte-Silver Shops Complex. In place of John Sesso, we have our Chief Executive, Matt Vincent, to report. Matt?
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the council. I just want to give an update on where we're at with this process. And what I'm about to say, I just to set it up, I think I would make the request that I referenced earlier this week that we would be withdrawing the letters and the MOU. I think the more appropriate step after consultation with the county attorney and council chair and vice chair Morgan, that the more easier way would be to just make a motion on your side to note and place the two communications on file. So this would apply to 16-350 and 16-351. We'll be submitting a placeholder communication to be put on next week's agenda that will kind of be held in abeyance during the public input process and further review of the sites and alternatives for our city-county shops. So as you recall, we had a public meeting this past Monday, the 25th, at the archives. There was a lot of interested folks who attended, somewhere in the neighborhood of 60 individuals. The way we broke it up was to kind of give an introduction. I gave an introduction, and then we broke the room up into 7 different tables so that we could gather some form of input and information back from every individual that was there. And so what I handed out to you at the beginning of the meeting is just it's the raw data from those table discussions. And so we'll continue to compile and evaluate the public input throughout, but that's the first batch of it. As I said, I would present to you all when at the conclusion of that meeting last Monday. So, and if you look at it, I mean, basically when we broke into those tables, we did have some information. We asked folks generally what they liked or disliked about the plan that was presented at last week's council meeting. We asked what sort of changes, additions, amendments to the plan, design, location that was presented, and then we gave opportunity for general comments. And at this point, I'm here tonight to just kind of give some follow-up on some of the ideas and recommendations from that meeting as we chart a path forward. And by putting that communication in for next week's meeting, we'll be able to revisit this on a weekly basis until such time we feel comfortable moving forward with the new communication. We'll put 2 new communications in with the MOU and recommendation once we feel comfortable that we've gone through a good process with the public and have a site that we can be comfortable with. So one of the comments was, and I'll start off by saying that it'll be up live. In fact, I think it's up live now. We're still making a few tweaks to it, but I had our public information officer create a web page on our website to hold the information relative to the selection of the city county shops location to date. We'll continue to add information to it, and there's an online form where individuals can get on there and fill it out, and we'll continue, like I said, to compile and evaluate the input that we get throughout this process. One of the things was that obviously on Monday, not much time had passed. We presented the information that included a big map that was in the report, the siting analysis report that showed all of the different locations. We also included land use map that was included in the state of Montana's natural resource damage program report on the end land use area for the paratailing site once the removal was completed. And then we had a couple of those conceptual renderings that you all saw last week with respect to the north side of the Civic Center road site. Our architect on the project, Steve Hinnick, is putting together similar conceptual renderings for the additional sites that are out there right now. So that was one of the comments, that it'd be nice to be able to picture the configuration of our shops at the other sites that are on the list right now, and we're listening as we move ahead. So that will also have links to additional information, everything I just said, plus things that are being developed, like those additional site renderings. We have a link to the full report, to the evaluation criteria that was used to assess the suitability of all of the sites that we looked at for city county shops, and that will continue to apply to sites as this process moves forward. It'll also be the place, although like I said, I just want to stress that we're going to continue to bring this up on a weekly basis in the interim, but it'll also be the place where the public can go to find out what the updates are on further public meetings and information as it becomes available. What we're looking at right now for those future public meetings is that it was discussed it would be very helpful to go out and maybe do a public tour of the sites. I would really encourage the commissioners, and I'll work with you, Madam Chair, and Commissioner Morgan and others to find some good days and times when we can make that happen and actually go out with these conceptual drawings of what the configuration of the shops will look like on these various locations, and just be a lot more informed and taking in the input that we're receiving in terms of the suitability of these sites. The other, in addition to the tour of the sites and the additional public updates, which will be taking place here, and we might have another meeting down the road similar to the one that we had on Monday night. I think eventually we'll get to the point when we have looked at and identified all of the best options to move forward on. That would be the time for us to schedule a formal public hearing where individuals can come here and speak in favor or against the recommended sites, whatever that might be, or we might use the public hearing to reach our recommended site for the county shops. So that's what I got for an update, and I guess I would open it to questions, comments, ideas. But I think a good start would be to hit the website, take a look at the page that we've developed, give us some input on tweaks we might be able to make to that, and we'll just discuss this again next Wednesday.
Any questions for Matt? Commissioner Palmer?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess two questions. First one probably for Matt. But I feel that I think the website would be better served maybe if we, instead of just putting their comments about these sites, other than saying they don't like this site, put a question on there, where would you like to see the county shops located? And maybe there's some sites out there that that we haven't even thought of yet. But I'd like to get the input of where they would like to see it and not just what's, like these comments on this, what didn't you like about the design of this particular site? It's pretty clear they just didn't like that site. So if they don't like that, where would you like to see it, I guess? And hopefully there's some new sites out there that we haven't even thought of yet that will be the answer to this. And the second question, I guess, is for the county attorney. I know it's for the county attorney. And since our other attorney isn't in the audience this evening, but you know, they made a statement last week that it was illegal, these two communications. And I guess I'd like your opinion on what was illegal about them and could we have moved forward if we wanted to?
County Attorney Joyce.
No comment now. Madam Chair, Commissioner Palmer, I think technically the communications themselves were not illegal. They were adequately placed on the agenda at that meeting, and the public was aware that they were going to be discussed and what action was being requested to be taken. Under the state law, there's both requirements in terms of, you know, what meetings have to be open and what that you have to have an agenda that allows the public notice of what's going to be discussed and what kind of action is going to be taken. The other aspect of the open meeting laws is the public participation statutes that discuss the opportunity for the public to be able to meaningfully participate in a matter that's of significant public interest. So, you know, that's a question that if there was action taken and there was a challenge to it, whether or not a court would determine that there wasn't an adequate amount of time for meaningful public participation would be the question.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and Madam Chair,
Yes.
Commissioner Palmer, I do believe the link site does say, where do you think the Butte-Silver Bow County shop should be located and why? So
that'll work. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, Commissioner Fisher?
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is probably for the county attorney also. In reference to the idea that I think it was Evan Barrett spoke about it being illegal, I think it's very similar to the Title and Registration Bureau moving to Helena, that the lawsuit was filed in Deer Lodge County, where they don't feel they got enough public input prior to making that decision. I think that was what Evan Barrett was referring to. That's why I understood it, is that you know, they want to move the Title and Registration Bureau from Deer Lodge to Helena, and people don't feel they had enough public input. I think the idea here was the same idea, that there wasn't enough public input. They weren't saying the communication was illegal. It was saying that if the shop proceeded, because it was read and acted upon is the way it was read. So thank you. That was all I'd say.
County Attorney, care to comment on that?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Fisher, I think that we're saying the same thing, maybe in a different way, but that's what I was trying to say to Commissioner Palmer, that would be the question. If someone were to challenge an action that was taken, and there wasn't any, but if there would have been a vote last week and somebody would have went to court to challenge it, the argument that they would be making is that there was a violation of the public participation statutes because it's a matter of significant public interest, that there wasn't enough opportunity for the public to meaningfully participate.
Thank you. Commissioner Sorge and Commissioner McDonough.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just got comments more than questions. I was at Monday's meeting, and it was very interesting to hear what the public had to say. My second comment is, according to today's article in the Montana Standard, I'm glad to see that we are going to be moving forward with the dirt. That is the ultimate goal of this whole project, is for the human safety to remove the parrot tailings. So that makes me feel a lot more comfortable. Number three, I really like the idea of opening up, maybe possibly going out on some buses one time so that we and the general public can actually see what these sites look like. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner McDonough?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm not sure that Chief Executive Vincent can answer this. I was hoping somebody from the Restore Kirk Group would be here tonight, but on their website, they have at the top of their website, a request for qualifications for a draft to hire whether it be their own architect or an engineer to put together a proposal. And it said that the proposals for their request for qualifications for this conceptual drawings and plans was due 2 weeks ago in the chief executive's office. North E. Trethaway used Chief Executive Vincent's office as the mailing address. So I was curious if anybody from Butte-Silver has seen any request for qualification proposals end up on the desk. They have a timeline that says that 2 weeks ago they would have had the request for qualification deadline, and then by this coming Monday they would have selected their own architect to start drawing their conceptual plans of this Greenway corridor. So I'm just kind of curious if anybody here knows if we've received anything, and or if anybody from ROCC's communicated with us in regards to this.
Matt, got any answer for that?
Madam Chair, Commissioner McDonough, I did see that, and we had not received anything in my office. I know Julia Crane attends the Restore Creek committee meetings. Have they mentioned anything about this, Julia?
The last communication, Madam Chair, Commissioners, the last communication I received was by email, and it directed that they will be holding a meeting at the IBRC this coming Monday at 5 p.m. And they'll be discussing some of their small group discussions or sort of their subcommittee discussions, but there has been no communication via email, anything regarding the RFP.
I got the same.
And so for the record there, the answer is no. She hadn't heard anything at these meetings. The Restore Creek Coalition has a meeting this coming Monday at, I believe that's August 1st.
1st of August.
At 5 p.m. at the Imagine Butte Resource Center, 66 West Park Street. So,
Any further questions for Matt? Anything else, Matt, you want to add? Well, I can.
no, we'll, like I said, we'll continue to work with you and get something on the agenda for next week, and just kind of walk side by side as we gather more input on this selection. So.
Just one thing too, Matt, and you and I discussed this earlier with John. At first, these two communications seem to be, compelling us to do something right away. And that, I believe that has changed. I think the flavor of that has changed over time with the NRD. And I thought, for the record and for our listeners on the radio and everyone else that might be interested to know why this has changed, we have a little bit more of a timeline to work with. Would you care to?
Yeah, I think it's a follow-up, Madam Chair, Council, listeners. I think it's more of a follow-up on what Commissioner Sorge said. The state of Montana has assured us that they are moving ahead with the release of the package, and are expecting to be breaking ground on the full-scale removal of the paratailings in early October, regardless of where our county shop's location is. And so that takes away the need to have either one of these communications active on the agenda at this time, because obviously the one can't be on there without the other, and neither of them can be on there without knowing what the site of our county shops are. We don't have to rush it. So.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Morgan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. With that being said, at this time, I'll make a motion that we note communication number 16-350 and place on file.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to note communication 16-350 and place this on file. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Section 13, communication 16-351, John Sesso, Director, Butte-Silver Planning Board, requesting Council of Commissioners authorize the Chief Executive to sign an agreement with the State of Montana Natural Resource Damage Program, the NRDP, regarding the county shop's relocation project. With the explanation that we just received before, I would defer to Commissioner Morgan again.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll make a motion that we note communication number 16-351 and place this communication on file.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to note communication 16-351 and place this on file. Is there anything on the question? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Section 14, communication number 16-352, Julia M. Crane, Superfund Program Data Administrator, Butte-Silver Planning Department, requesting Council of Commissioners authorize time on July 27th to present the outcome of the 2016 SARTA grant cycle. We have postponed that until next week, so we'll just hold this communication in abeyance. Section 15, communication number 16-356, J.P. Gallagher, Director of Butte-Silver Parks and Recs Department, requesting Council Commissioners allow suspension of the rules and authorize time on this evening's agenda to conduct a bid opening regarding the Miners Field Flatwork Project at Copper Mountain Sports Park. This is where we would be placing this on file. Commissioner Morgan, I think we already did that.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll make a motion that we place communication number 16-356 on file.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to place communication 16-356 on file, which I believe we've already done, but all those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. At this time in our meeting, I would ask for any public comment on any public matter that's not on tonight's agenda. Any public comment?
R.
Give me
Edward
the sign,
Vanderhob.
the thumbs down, I guess not. Anything else to come before us this evening? Commissioner Sorich.
Thank you, Madam Chair. See, I just want to say the county fair, the Butte-Silver County Fair is almost here. It's going to be 4th, 5th, and 6th. And actually, there's going to be a lot of things lined up. You know, there's going to be concerts and
Brew
mini
Fest.
rodeo. There's it's been a challenge, and 4-H is going to have a presence. They are going to have animals. It's going to be. I'm excited. It's going to been a lot of work. It's been a lot of frustrations for a few, but it's going to turn out real well. We've had a lot of help from good people. So
All right.
please plan on attending.
Also, I'll mention that the NRD is having, or the NRA is having their rodeo tomorrow and Friday evening. Gates open at 5:30 and starts at 7. That should be fun too. Anything else to come before us? All right. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion is second to adjourn. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.